Welcome to the College Football Halftime Show presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. I'm Aaron Chironi here with Leroy Horde. The Alabama-Ole Miss score right now is 14-3. Leroy, got real interesting right before the half there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Ole Miss because if they were able to go into the half at 7-3, you know, the crowd could get behind them. They could go in at halftime and say, you know what, we've done something here. We're still in this game. All we have to do is make a couple of minor adjustments. They have the fumble, the turnover, and the score. You know, so they had, like, the worst thing that could happen at that time happen to Ole Miss. And so now they just have to regroup, get it back in. They have to do something offensively because, you know, they haven't really moved the ball that successfully. So you get back in, you move the ball a little bit, you do something offensively, give your defense a rest. They need to sustain a drive to give their defense a rest. Defense look a little tired at the end of the half, and then play the second half.
All right, well, speaking of the second half, let's take a look at some highlights from the first half, especially picked up right there, right before the end. Start off with Katy Perry here. Your favorite, right, Leroy?
I wouldn't say my favorite. I know who she is.
You did know who she was.
Yes.
All right, Ole Miss's Gary Wunderlich makes a 46-yard field goal here, giving Ole Miss the lead 3-0 early on.
His test was really hard.
Alabama wide receiver Kenyon Drake.
Oh, this is brutal.
Gruesome injury.
This is brutal.
Carted off the field. You never want to see that. That's
Never,
awful.
never.
4th and goal. Blake Sims touchdown here. He fakes out the cameraman. They didn't even get the shot initially, and apparently faked out the rest of Ole Miss as well.
One guy of 11 guys.
That's right. And here we go. Right before the half, Cyrus Jones recovers a fumble with under a minute left, runs it in for the touchdown, making it 14-3 Roll Tide.
He shouldn't have fumbled it, but he got real unlucky by the ball staying in bounds, giving the defender an opportunity to pick it up and score. I mean, 2 yards from the sideline. That very rarely happens.
Yeah, you talked about that. The luck of the draw sometimes. I mean, you got to be prepared. You have to be there, and you can't give things up. But
well, the Ole Miss running back put himself in that situation by not having ball security. And once that happens, anything could happen. And it's unfortunate for him that the worst case scenario presented itself, but it happens when you make that mistake.
It's all about probability, my friend. Thursday night, we saw Arizona go on the road and hand Oregon their first loss of the season. This week, we're giving the Taco Bell MVP to the Arizona rushing attack. How about that? 55 carries, over 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That, my friends, is how you take down the #2 team in the country. Right, Leroy?
I tell you what, you know, everybody in college and life has that trouble team. My team was Notre Dame. Arizona has Oregon's number and has had it for the last few years. I mean, they can't beat Arizona. I don't know what it is.
Also, when you get that in your head, maybe there's something mental there, you know?
I don't know about that because keep in mind, the teams change. The turnover is so great in college football. Like, you only have a handful of guys that are still there.
That's
so
true.
when they go into the new year, it's a new set of circumstances, a new team.
They could pass down the idea of a curse to someone else, though. All right, moving along, though. Arizona and UCLA, now the only undefeated teams in the Pac-12, Leroy. Is the Pac-12 wide open? And do you think that Oregon is the best team in the country?
Oregon's not the best team in the country anymore.
Because you thought that before.
I did think that. I did think that they were playing the best. I thought that they would have the easier trip. You know, when you look at Alabama, Florida State had struggled. You look at Alabama, they're going to have to play through the gauntlet that is the SEC West. But I figured, you know, Oregon's going to be able to prove that they are the best team in the country. Didn't get past Arizona. I mean, you got to give everybody a shot. Why not? Arizona, they're unranked. It's happened before.
And it sure
I mean,
has.
you look at UCLA. They've struggled a little bit, but they're still undefeated. So you don't know.
Still early.
Yes.
Speaking of which, let's give our friends here some score updates from around the country. Starting off with the battle in our control room. Wake Forest, Florida State, FSU leads 30-3 now. It's changed since we started this segment.
Yes.
It was 23-3. Stanford, Notre Dame, they're tied at 7. Oklahoma, TCU is tied at 24 at the half. We talked about that.
That's going to be a high-scoring game, and I tell you what, it's a good one up to this point.
Yeah, and TCU gave up that early lead.
Yeah, they were. Well, no, TCU was up by 2 touchdowns on Oklahoma, and Oklahoma came back.
And Mississippi State stays unbeaten, downing Texas A&M 48-3. 31, and it could have been worse.
Real impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, of the two teams, before today, who had a better chance of upsetting, either it was either going to be Mississippi State or Ole Miss. A lot of people said Mississippi State would be the team that would be more inclined to get the upset.
Leroy, who do you think is the best team in the SEC West at the moment?
Right now, I think it's going to go down to between Alabama and Auburn. I think Mississippi State might find a way to squeeze themselves into that. But I think when you see the Iron Bowl at the end of the year, that's going to determine the best team in the SEC.
All right, well, I just want to remind everybody that they can download the CBS Sports app for instant scores, stats, and late-breaking news from all of today's games. Get it now at cbssportsapp.com. And stick around, guys, because Leroy and I will be right back after this quick commercial break with more. Welcome back to the College Football Halftime Show presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you got to live, Moss. I'm Erin Sharoni here with Leroy Hoard. Ole Miss just scored, waiting for that extra point. If they get it, it'll be 14-10. Leroy, it's already October, and that means that we're drawing closer to award season in college football. The CBSSports.com All-America team is going to be announced on December 9th. And for an early sneak peek at what we might expect, we're turning to you. Go figure. So, Leroy, let's first look at the quarterbacks early in the running for All-America honors. Which of these guys has impressed you most so far? We've got a graphic here. Kenny Hill, Marcus Mariota, Bryce Petty, Everett Golson, and Brett Hundley. Usual suspects.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Mariota and Everett Golson do so much more with the football. They run with it, throw it also. Then you look at a guy like Kenny Hill. He's playing in the SEC, so I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to keep that up because A&M has a tendency to slow down towards the end of the year when they start playing their tougher schedule. Marcus Mariota, his numbers are going to always be there because of the offense that he plays in, always going to be there. But if you're a Golden Domer and you have success, you got to go there. Bryce Petty, he's also in it. I mean, I can't, the only person that I'll say would have to do a lot to get in that conversation is Brett Hundley.
Now, that loss on Thursday that Oregon took, Mariota actually shouldered a lot of that blame himself. He took the onus on himself.
Right.
So even after that, what do you think?
He's got no support staff. I mean, they don't protect as well as they used to. They don't run the ball as well as they used to. And so a lot more of the weight is falling on his shoulders. But as they start playing more and more of these teams out west, he's going to start having the success again. I mean, they're only going to struggle a couple of games, and he's going to have to carry that weight a couple of times more this year.
Running back position, that's something you can certainly talk about. Equally contentious. We've had a chance to see Georgia's Todd Gurley. Is he the obvious number one in your mind? Let's look at this whole list.
I would say Gurley because of his size, but I tell you, Amir Abdullah, what a phenomenal running back.
Yeah.
As far as a guy that makes you miss, a guy that is maybe not as fast as a lot of running backs, he can get it done and take it to the house, and he's having an incredible year. I would say it's hard picking a Wisconsin running back because a lot of times their system, all they do is run the football, and they usually have a slew of running backs. So, the other guys probably are going to fall a little farther back on that list.
The CBSSports.com user pick so far is Gurley at 36%, but it's still early. We've got a couple weeks at least. Looking at some of the other top selections our users have made to date, are there any surprises for you here? These are the top vote getters.
Not really. I mean, the center for Oregon, because they've been having trouble protecting, Mariota. So from that standpoint, it would kind of be surprising to me that somebody from that unit would be on this list. And no knock on him, just the fact that that's what they've been struggling at this year.
All right, well, it should certainly be interesting, to
Yes,
say the least,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
That's what makes college football so much fun. Remember, fans, you can submit your vote for the CBSSports.com All-America team at cbssports.com/All-America. All-America. We make it very easy. The fan vote will be part of the formula used to pick our team on Tuesday, December 9th. So vote now and vote often. That will do it for us, my friends. Remember to keep it here on CBSSports.com for the best college football coverage. I'm Erin Sharoni with Leroy Horde. Enjoy the rest of the games.